Yeah, it's Andy here on PBQs with Pastor Desmond Thomas. So today, I'd like to have a conversation with you about these books we have here. So you've got a book, Marriage Made in Heaven, another, Breaking Down Strongholds. And I guess this is just a reflection of money made in and around the church. And there's a lot of non-believers and even some believers that question the money or profit that is made from church. So I guess the question is, would God want Christians to run the church like a business?
Okay. Well, Christians shouldn't run a church like a business. Okay? But whenever there comes to be paying of rent, paying of salaries, come to pay taxes, and all of those stuff, there is a business element in it.
Sure.
Okay? All right?
Taxes that are deducted and subsidized for religions, which are charities, which should be non-profit charities, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So there comes,
Churches, not
yeah,
charities,
yeah.
sure.
So the church is not a business, but there are business elements in it. Church has to pay bills like everyone else. Church has to hire buildings like anyone else. I mean, if people are working in the church, cleaning the church or whatever, and they have to be paid like anyone else. So there is some business element in it, though the church shouldn't be run like a business.
Sure, and I've heard a lot of people say that the business element of the church should be the organization and administration of the church,
Yes.
which makes sense. But I guess those people also appreciate that the church has its bills, its rent, and
Yes.
various things. Then should the leaders of the church profit heavily sometimes from running this church? Should they be CEOs of this church and end up and they take donations from their community, but end up profiting way more heavily than everybody else that's associated?
Okay. Now, the Bible tells us, of course, that those who preach the gospel should live by it. Okay? All right? And it is, of course, fair that everyone where you're working to get your salary from it.
Sure.
Okay? Now, Christianity is a calling. You're not there to make profit.
Sure.
All right? Okay? But you can be blessed in it. Okay? All right? Now, Christians need to understand as well that pastors have needs like everybody else.
Sure.
They also have bills to pay. They have a wife. They have children that ask of them. You see, now, we need to take this concept away that pastors need to be poor. All right? Okay?
You feel that's the...
That's what is happening. They would say pastors need to be poor. Pastors don't need to have money. Pastors need to, but then what happens is they forget that a pastor is like everybody else, having bills like everybody else, having children like everybody else who need things from them. And so therefore, pastors as well need to be paid, and pastors need to be paid well.
Sure.
I believe that very much because of the apart from us being like everyone else, the stress that goes also with the job.
Sure, so the amount doesn't really make a difference, right? But there are top leaders of churches,
Yes.
so especially in the States, where there's 310 or so million people,
Yeah.
where they make good money and they should be paid. And I agree, right? I do agree that the leaders of the church should be paid for the job they're doing, right?
Yes.
And that just makes logical
Yes.
sense. But then there are some that make millions and tens of millions, right? And then there's this massive gulf between what those in the church have and their followers have, and what the leaders of these institutions have. And that's probably where the question comes in. It's like, at some point, how are you taking tens of millions for yourself? And yes, you're starting other organizations, the church is expanding.
Yeah.
But then obviously you could expand at a much faster rate. It's the 1% argument almost, that the 1% have so much and then the bottom 50% have so little. And this coincidentally also applies in the church then.
Let me put it this way, prosperity should be for everyone. It is not, I think there's a problem if it's the pastor only prospering and all of the people there are not prospering. I think there's a problem. We need to understand also so that there could be abuses as well of funds. You see, that's why every church should have a board. Every church should have an administration, where things can be looked into. I mean, when they determine like salaries and all of these for their pastors as well. But we need to understand every case needs to be treated differently. There are pastors that are doing all the things that are bringing them money. Now I know there are churches where pastors don't take salary; they are rich because they may be authors or they may be businessmen or whatever. So money is coming from other sources. So that's why every pastor needs to be treated on its own merit.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So if the person is doing something else to bring in income, then I mean we need to
But
consider.
some leaders of the church have other jobs, right? Because
Yeah.
some churches are smaller and
Yes.
thus they can't sustain themselves financially
Yes.
and their family
Yes.
to the level they want.
Yeah.
But then has this always been the culture of the church, going back to Roman history,
Yeah.
where the leaders of, especially the Catholic Church, the Catholic churches, they would profit heavily from this business that they end up setting up and running, and again there'd be this massive gulf. So this has been the culture of the church, but will it always be the culture of the church? And if there were one thing that has to change, what would that one thing be?
Okay.
To inspire confidence in the non-believers and also the believers that are just a bit worried that maybe we're going or being told to pray and ask for more and do the right things, but then we only see one or two or a few people prospering and profiting and us not so much.
Well, what I have said before, I think there's something wrong if it is only one person prospering. I believe every church the leadership need to be able to communicate the gospel that everyone in the church should prosper. In fact, I believe personally that if you teach the people how to get prosperous, then on the other hand, the church is prosperous. So I believe in communal prosperity rather than just individual prosperity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
specific.
Yes.
There's one thing that has to change
Yeah.
in the culture to
Yeah.
remove this fear and this worry from people's minds. What would that one thing be?
In terms of prosperity within the church?
Oh, yeah, in terms of profit, very explicitly profit in the
Yeah.
church, or the gulf of the poor and the rich,
Yeah.
which is everywhere.
Yeah.
Or the idea of
The
it. I guess some of
poor-
it's mental sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
The
no-
poor
smaller
and the
churches
rich will
don't-
always
Yeah,
have.
but the smaller churches don't necessarily have
Yeah.
the leaders of the church being
Yeah.
the richest of people and taking tens of millions in income every year from these churches.
Yeah.
Right. So what has to change?
I think support needs to be given. I think a balance needs to be created.
Is that support at the top, or is that support at the bottom where the people are, or is that support in the leadership?
Well, it has to come from the leadership, I believe. You know, there are pastors who are going without, whereas there are other pastors who have abundance and above. You know, I believe that there need to be some help, given. Those who, that's what the Bible teaches. It teaches about sharing.
Yeah.
It teaches about the church having everything in common. It teaches about you and the rich helping the poor and the poor helping the rich. That is what Christianity is all about. And I think we need to get to the place where we need to understand that it is not only individual prosperity, but the prosperity of the church. And what we have, the rich must share with the poor. And, I believe that is very, very vital. I think we need to change it.
And best of luck with your books and your church, as a whole community prospering.
Well, at the moment, our church, we are heading that way at the moment. It depends on what you feel prosperity is all about. But for us, as far as we're concerned, prosperity is fourfold. Prosperity is spiritual, prosperity is numerical, prosperity is financial. Prosperity also, I believe, is when a church lives together as a community in peace, in love, caring for one another, and being there for one another is prosperity. So we are moving in that 4 dimensions.
Good to hear.
Yes.
Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you.
Comment. Slide in these DMs, slide in my DMs. We want to know what you think. We want to know if you're part of the church. We want to know if this is for people that are part of the church and the leadership. If you disagree with anything you hear, we want to hear from you especially. And if you agree and you want to like it, comment, and let me know what you think about certain parts, that'd be great. If this has inspired any further questions or you want to expand on what we discussed, that'd be great. Comment, slide in DMs. Thanks, guys.